1 month until we make a baby.
That's the goal, Shane. I'm glad you're being optimistic.
Until we begin making a baby.
Until we start our first round of IVF. Welcome back to Monday Grub Bag first.
Yeah, hi. We're here.
You're normally so enthusiastic about it being Monday Grub Bag.
This is a series, blah, blah, blah. IVF. We're making a human.
Today is going to be dedicated to answering your questions about IVF. I just got them from Instagram. I picked out 10 that were the most commonly asked questions.
Yes. But we are beginning. We're still in LA.
Yep.
We're heading home in about a month.
Yep.
And then, depending when Hannah's cycle begins, right?
It will be in about a month.
In about a month. Then we are going to begin our first round.
Yeah.
Our dog is here. Say hi, dog.
Dog is here.
So we're very excited and just want to keep you informed about what's going on. So
yeah, when I asked for questions, it became clear that not everybody is starting with the same baseline information.
And I know why. I think I know why. Almost all of our IVF updates have come in our podcast, which is like
all of them,
45 minutes long.
Yeah.
And not everyone always has time to listen to all that.
Yeah.
So
we'll start posting shorter things so that it reaches more people, because people were like, what is going on?
But Hannah and I have decided that we do want to like bring you all along on the IVF journey.
Which we started back in October, if you missed our podcast talking about it.
Right, that's when we began doing all like the testing.
Yeah, the build up.
To figure out like if it was even possible.
Yeah.
And it is. And now we're beginning the actual like first round.
Yes.
So let's just dive into the questions,
Let's dive in. The first question, Shane, why are you doing IVF?
Oh.
That was a big one. But essentially, we're doing IVF because Shane is on a treatment and has some other lifestyle factors that can lead to low sperm count.
I sit on my balls all day long, and I've been sitting on them my entire life.
That's the main one.
There's an atmosphere of warmth in my nether region.
Which is also a bad thing.
Not good for spermies. You're supposed to have anywhere from like a bajillion to a billion sperm. I have about 4.
Luckily, you have more than 4, but the number is very, very low. So that is why we're doing IVF. Another question was, how long did you try for a baby before IVF? That's question number 2. Related to that, we didn't really try in like the way of people like.
We weren't tracking anything.
Yeah, we weren't like, we haven't been using protection, if that's the question.
We were just not trying.
We were not trying, but we have known for quite a while now that Shane's sperm was low. So there wasn't really a period where we were like, why isn't this working? Like, we kind of knew why we weren't getting pregnant. So yeah. Yeah,
so Hannah and I tried very casually the natural way for 2 to 3 years with no success. And that was when we began thinking more seriously about IVF.
Yeah. All right, so why IVF and not IUI? And then someone else, I combined these, was like, why not the turkey baster method? So the problem isn't like getting the sperm in there. So like turkey baster wouldn't help us. That's not the issue.
I've got my own dog given turkey baster.
Okay. The issue is the quality of what is in the turkey baster.
In fact, tell them about my volume.
Shane, they already know about this.
Which is, not everyone knows.
Okay, well, if
there's new people here.
That video did quite well. Shane's fertility results, that talked about that Shane's sperm was very poor quality.
Quality, very low.
Quality, very low.
Quantity.
His volume was off the charts, and so he is feeling good about himself that at least one factor he passed in, with flying colors. However, that is the one that doesn't
really matter.
Really help.
I just find it really funny that like someone my size produces above average.
It was off the chart.
Volume.
It wasn't in the percentiles.
I mean, I have a certain set of skills.
Okay, Shane. And it's not making babies. All right, number 4. Will the baby be... Oh, wait, actually, let me just go back for a second.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like people aren't... Like, if you don't know what IVF and IUI is, IUI is intrauterine insemination, so they would take Shane's sperm and they would just put it in my uterus.
As is.
And I would, take medicine to make sure I ovulate, whatever. But that's all that is, and that doesn't help us. So what IVF is they take my eggs out surgically. They take them out with like a needle, they take Shane's sperm, and we're doing like a more intensive IUF where they match each sperm and they stick it into the egg. It's not, there's an IVF where you just like let the sperm swim with the eggs and they'll just like do it themselves. Shane's little spermies aren't going to do that.
There are so few of them that they are assigning their lead embryologist, someone that is like very good at picking out one good sperm from a pile of not good sperm. Sorry for all the imagery here. Ours is a more intensive male fertility case.
Exactly.
So we're getting the experts.
Yes, so that's why we're doing IVF and a very specific kind of IVF.
Yes.
All right. Will the baby be genetically both of yours? A lot of people were asking if we're using sperm donors, or someone asked about like embryo adoption where you like use someone else's. Yes, the baby will be genetically ours if this works.
Yeah, that's the plan right now.
Yeah, my eggs are good to go. Shane's sperm, we're hoping will have enough.
I have a few that are good to go.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to keep them alive for a few more weeks.
We're definitely open to like other options in the future, but right now, since we have both of the parts needed, we're just gonna try that way.
Yep.
Thoughts on multiples, like having twins? Someone was like, "What about triplets?"
Well, we've talked a lot about it.
Triplets is a no-go. I will not have triplets.
Because it is more likely, right, that we could have doubles.
Yes, but it's still like a 1% chance or something. It's not very high. It's higher if you implant more than one embryo, basically. So, like, the chance of it splitting into a, like, naturally, like, having twins spontaneously is higher than regular pregnancies.
Spontaneous twins.
Yeah, but, like, people can implant 2 embryos and then maybe have twins. So, we have not yet decided if we're going to do 1 embryo or 2 to raise the chances of it working.
That's assuming we get 2 embryos.
That's the thing. Like, we don't even know if we'll have 2. We're hoping we have more than, 2, but we'll see.
So, we're not against having twins, and we talked about, like, how the plan would change for twins. Obviously, it would be more involved.
There are pros and cons that we've talked about at length. So.
But we're not, like, aiming for that, I would say.
Yeah, and we don't even know if our doctor would do twins. They're pretty hesitant to give the risk of a multiple pregnancy. So. Right. What part are you most nervous about? And this person had obviously been through it because they listed, like, all the different steps that they were nervous about. Yeah.
I know what I'm most nervous about. Hannah being uncomfortable throughout the process. It's a emotional and physically tolling thing to go through. I have the very easy part of just producing my sperm sample, which is like fun. But
that's the most important sperm sample of your life.
It is. So I'm going to really focus on that.
It's a lot of pressure.
But Hannah has to take shots and medicines that, make her hormones change, all kinds of things. And then there's the, the emotional thing of like, what if it doesn't work? And so I don't want Hannah to be uncomfortable throughout all of that, and that's what I'm nervous about.
I think I'm most nervous about it not working, like we don't even get to the embryo part. I think that I'm most nervous about, like, none of the eggs formed into embryos. Because when we talked to our doctor, they were like, each step that you go through, like, you get the embryos. One of these questions is, like, what is IVF? So I'll just, like, talk about it briefly. But, you get the eggs from me, and say we get, like...
Like you?
Oh, my God, Shane. I was so caught off guard by that. Unnecessary. We get the eggs from me. Say that we get 12 eggs from me, okay? Then we fertilize them with Shane's sperm. They said that, like, approximately 9 of those will work. Then they see if the embryos develop, approximately 6 of them will develop. Then they see if they, like, make it past the next development stage into, like, whatever, and only, like, 3 of those do that.
Into tadpoles.
Then they test them, only 2 of the embryos are viable. So, like, each step that you go through, you lose embryos along the way. So, like, me making 12 eggs doesn't really mean that we're going to have 12 embryos at the end. Like, we're guaranteed that we won't.
Yeah.
Basically.
That's also, like, best case scenario.
Yes.
Like, you lose some each time.
Yes.
Even in a perfect.
Yeah, that's just, like, how it goes. So that's what I'm most nervous about, is, like, each step of the process, losing them, and then, like, having none.
Yeah, it would be very disheartening. Well, it would be very difficult to
Yes.
experience if this doesn't work.
Yes.
You know, emotionally,
Yeah. So it's like,
physically,
exactly.
financially.
I don't mind the shots and like the money if it works, but if it all comes to like nothing, then it's that's awful.
I have a question for you.
Oh yeah.
Are you gonna let me do at least one of the shots?
I don't think you would want to, Shane.
I could.
When it's in front of you, I don't think you would want to.
I could do it.
I'll let you then.
I've been training to be a nurse.
No, you have not. I'm gonna hand you the needle, and you're gonna be like, "Oh, never mind."
Anesthesiology runs in my bones.
Okay. What if it hurt though? What if I was like, "Ow"?
I would say, "Bite down on this leather strap.
Okay.
We have to do it."
So what is the IVF process? We kind of just went through that. Basically, after it said that they do have 3 good embryos at the end, fingers crossed, we would choose to implant like one of those, and then we would see if that becomes a pregnancy. We would freeze the other 2 and have them for the future.
Yes.
But we're doing the embryo testing, which is I guess I didn't pick it out, but someone asked if we were testing the embryos. You can do chromosome testing to see if they are compatible with becoming, like, implanting, basically. So you can have an embryo that looks good, but it has no chance of actually implanting because it doesn't have the right makeup. So we will be testing for that because that really increases your chances of it working, because otherwise you go through all of this, you implant an embryo that is not going to implant, and you have no idea. So we're testing to make sure that that is not the case.
Yes, correct.
Yes.
And I would just say that, like, learning about all of this over the past few months has been so interesting.
Yeah.
Like, the
science behind all of it.
Behind how all this works is so fascinating.
It is. The next question is there screening for SMA in the embryos, and would you want to know?
So that will be part of it, correct? Is it part of the screening or no?
No, because we did genetic testing already.
Well, that's what I was about to say.
Oh. No, our embryos can't have SMA unless it happens spontaneously, which is like 1 in a bajillion, like the same chance as anybody else, but like that doesn't really happen very often.
Yeah.
So essentially our children will not have SMA, so we won't be testing for that.
Hannah is not a carrier, so you need to both be carriers in order for the embryos to be possibly affected by SMA.
And that's the case for any genetic condition. I had genetic testing for like a bunch of stuff, like everything that they test for when we were starting this process. And I'm not a carrier for anything, so like anything that they can test for. So we know that. That's all we did.
You're a carrier of awesome.
Well, that was actually the worst thing you could have said.
Can I do the end of the video?
That was the worst. There's one more question, but should we just be done instead?
Do the last one.
Okay. Why IVF instead of adoption? Someone asked about that. I think a couple people asked about that.
Yeah.
I think the main reason for that, do you want me to begin?
Yeah.
The main reason for that is that we are currently splitting our time between Minnesota and California.
Mm-hmm. With a lot of other travel to different areas for speaking engagements and video projects.
Seeing your family in Pennsylvania. We're always on the road.
On the move.
Yeah, we had considered foster care adoption, adopting from foster care, and we began that process, met with an agency, all of that, did all the 15 hours of training that you need.
Yeah, we got like certified or pre-certified or whatever,
But we were like, oh, it's not really appropriate to like move. Like, we don't really know where we're going to end up in 5 years.
Yeah.
We could be living in Pennsylvania. We could be living in California. We could be still in Minnesota. Like, we don't really know. Yeah. So that doesn't feel like a good route for us right now.
Especially if we had like a slightly older child placed with us.
Yeah.
You know, that had family in Minnesota or...
Yeah, I mean, pretty much any child we would get would have roots and connections in Minnesota, so that wouldn't be appropriate to then take them away from that.
Right. So, right now, this feels like the best path for us.
Yeah.
And obviously, you can see that there are a lot of factors and a lot of logistics.
Yeah.
We're doing our best to learn as much as we can and make the best decisions for our family. So, it's been exciting.
I think we're getting more excited.
Nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a month away,
it's getting here.
It's real.
Because in December, we were like, this is never going to happen. Like, April is never going to come. And now it's like, oh, wow.
I know.
It's March.
All right. Well, I'm going to go practice producing my sample. And that's it for
today. They're going to say, giving me the injections.
No,
Why did you have to do that?
My very favorite thing is to toe the line of what will make Hannah
That-
pause the video to yell at me.
That was the line. That was inappropriate. Goodbye, everybody. Sorry about
Time
that.
to make a baby.